Hello and welcome. I'm Jo Watson Hackle, and today we are going to talk about the Wonder Hour. So I hope it's the case that you may find yourself with a little extra time in your day. I hope it's at least an hour, but even if it's only 5 minutes of extra time, you can use that time to explore the wonders of nature. So I invite you to, throughout the course of your day, jot down things that you might be curious about in nature or things that you'd like to learn more about. So if you saw the video on creating your own Discovery Center the last time, you can take ideas and gather things that you'd like to learn more about from your Discovery Center. And as we talked about in the video, your Discovery Center doesn't have to be anything fancy at all. It can be a bowl, it can be a box, it could be a shadow frame, it could be a shoe box, it could be a vase, it could just be a place in your house where you put things from nature, ideas from nature, and questions that you are curious about in nature. So once you have things that you are curious about, let your curiosity be the guide as you either examine objects from nature or answer questions that you always wondered about, but now during your Wonder Hour or your Wonder 5 minutes, you have time to explore. So here are some things that I've put together on my website, www.johackle.com, some things that you can ask yourself about things from nature. So if an item that you're curious about is something from, say, a plant, you can try to identify it. If it's a leaf, you can take a leaf rubbing. You can figure out whether it's a simple or a complex leaf. You can ask whether it provides food or shelter for animals or humans. Does it have any companion plants that it is usually found in? Where in the wild is it usually found? What's its life cycle? And how do its seeds spread? And in the Discovery Center, we gathered a dandelion. There are also all very wonderfully fascinating ways that plants spread their seeds. So you might want to explore that and see what you're curious about plants. If it's something from an animal, never kill an animal, but if you happen to find, say, I found this dead, sadly, bee in my backyard, so collected it for my Discovery Center. You might also find animal tracks or other signs that, that animals have been around, or you might just be looking at animals through your window, birds outside, or things that you found in books, magazines, or online, and see if you can figure out what you are curious about that animal. So some questions that you might want to ask yourself about is, where does that animal usually live? What does it eat? If it leaves tracks on the ground, how can you learn to identify those tracks and to tell the difference between the tracks of that animal and the tracks of other animals? Are there any legends or folk tales associated with the animal? What sounds does it make? Can you maybe learn how to identify the sound that the animal makes by its sound? Does the animal live alone or does it live in groups? And is it usually active during the day or active at night? So add to that your own questions, things that you wonder about the animal. So there are all sorts of items from nature that you might want to explore. If you, another example is, say you found a rock, and I have one of my favorite types of rocks. It's part of a larger piece. It's actually part of a piece of mica, which I love because it has these great reflective layers that are really fun to find. I always feel really excited when I find one on the ground and then get to explore it and look at these very thin, tiny layers in the mica. So if you find a rock, whatever type it is, you might be curious about it. You might want to know what it's made of. How is it formed? Where is it usually found? Is it found in other parts of the world? You might also find some that what you are looking at leads to things from nature that you might want to learn. So for example, we talked about bird sounds. Have you ever wondered what kind of bird it is that you hear singing outside your window every morning? There are great resources online like the Audubon Society website that have resources to help you identify the bird that maybe you've always wondered about. Have you ever wanted to learn how to grow something from seed? Now is a perfect time to start. So use the Wonder Hour to learn about starting things from seed and then to actually try it out and start in your own home. So 2 seeds that I love as a starting point to start from scratch are sunflowers and watermelons, also peas. Any seed that is a little bit larger is usually, I found, at least in my own experience, easier to start from seed. So try it out. It is your Wonder Hour. Whatever it is that you'd like to plant is what you can plant. Have you ever wondered how to tell the approximate temperature by the number of cricket chirps in a certain period of time? Say like 15 seconds. If you go to my website, I have some questions and I also have some hints to help you do just that. Have you ever wondered how people who lived in your area before electricity was invented, how they lived off the land? The Wonder Hour is a great time, if that's something that you're curious about, to go and get answers to the questions that you want to know about. Have you ever wanted to go on a nature scavenger hunt? Well, if it's safe to go outside, you can create your own nature scavenger hunt, and you can challenge your friends virtually to go on their own hunt. So one idea is to try and spot an item from nature whose name starts with, whose first letter of its name starts with every letter of the alphabet. So that's always a fun way to get outside and to explore. Have you ever wondered how burrs stick to your clothes? Are there any inventions that have been inspired by things from nature, like the way that burrs stick to clothes? And I will give you a hint. It starts with the letter V. Other things that you might wonder about are want to learn, or how to read a compass, how to make a sundial, how to make a bird feeder. Whatever it is you wonder, I hope that you will use your Wonder Hour, or your Wonder 5 minutes, or your Wonder Minute to go learn about nature, explore, and have lots of adventures either through your window, through resources online in books or magazines, or by actually going outside. So I look forward to hearing from you about your own Wonder Hour adventures. Thanks so much for visiting.